What's up, YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back, and today we'll be hunting $25 in pennies. And today we've got about half and half, maybe a little less than half and half, customer wrap pennies and Loomis bank wrapped pennies. Now, our Loomis rolls, you can see we got a handful of different wrappers. We've got some blue tape. Probably a handful of different customers dropped these off, so who knows what could be inside of these things. The main goal of our video is to continue filling out our Whitman albums. I have from 1909 all the way up to the latest book, which starts at 2014. I know the book that's in the late 70s all the way up through that 2014 book are pretty much complete. We are struggling on our wheat pennies. The 1909 to 1940 book needs the most. There's probably only 8 or 10 pennies in that book. We'll have a look at them at the end of the video. And while we're going through here, we will be paying special attention to things like mint errors and varieties, like things like double die obverses and reverses, proof coins, those sorts of things. We'll also be pulling our copper, which is 1982 and earlier. So in 82, you got to check because half the year they did them in zinc, the other half they did them in copper. And if you need to know what we're looking for, I do have a cheat sheet that is in a link in the description down below this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into these pennies. So we've made it through all the customer wrapped rolls, and it wasn't all that exciting. We did end up with a couple of 2009s. We had the early childhood, and I think that's the professional life one. And then I've got a handful of things that might be upgrades to my books. I know a couple of these look a little sketchy, but some of the pennies in my books are not that great. And I did come across my first 2024 penny. This one's a Philadelphia. Haven't had any of these, but I haven't really done a lot of penny hunts this year. So anyway, my first 2024 as far as I know. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's my first. We did come away with about a roll and a half of copper. Now, I have been checking everything on my cheat sheet and just about everything in the Strike It Rich book. And so far in all the years of me hunting pennies, I don't do all that well on varieties. I want to say the last big one I found was a 2015 double die obverse. But I keep hunting for them. Hopefully we'll find a high value penny one of these days. I did find a 1988 transitional once that was worth quite a bit of money. A couple $100 if I recall, but I still need to get that graded to validate that. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into all of these Loomis wrap rolls. I think I am going to have a handful of brand new, either 2023 or 2024 rolls. And if I do happen to find some stuff, I'll try to bring you in rather than just doing a wrap up. It's just the customer rolls were really, really slow. There just really wasn't anything to show. No wheat pennies, nothing interesting. So let's get into these Loomis rolls and hopefully we'll find something cool. So the very first Loomis wrapped roll that I got into was all 2024 Philadelphias. I've actually already dumped some of them into the bin. I looked at every single penny under the scope in that roll, and I pulled 3. They're, I'm going to say they're grease strikes. That's basically what they look like to me, and especially under the scope. There is quite a bit of the coin missing. I mean, under the camera it doesn't look so bad, but when I put it here under the scope, you'll see that we are missing a lot of the lettering. It's pretty rubbed out here. I think that's from this being a pretty good grease strike. Like if we look over here, the L is almost gone. The VDB initials are almost gone. I was looking on eBay. There are some folks that have actually gotten pretty good money for these, $20 plus dollars. I've got 3 of them that all look kind of like this, so I'm not sure how uncommon that's going to be at this stage. Like this is probably the best one. It's a little bit, it's not as pretty as some of the other ones. But again, I'll put it under here. You'll see that L is just about gone. You can see a little bit of the D from VDB. Some of the lettering up here is a little faint, but I think the reverse is even worse. Well, this one's not so bad, but the L is almost gone on the word Liberty. So I'll keep these aside. I'm not going to say they're worth a whole lot, but people, maybe the early finders of these have been putting them on eBay and making a little bit of money. I'll put some comps up here on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So I just popped into my 3rd or 4th Loomis roll. We've found a lot of copper along the way. Not a whole lot else until right now. You can see I've just got the whole roll that I pushed out. We've got ourselves our first wheat penny on the hunt. Let's see what we got here. It is reverse facing. Let's see. We've got ourselves in 1944. Now, if you recall at the beginning of the video, I need stuff before 1940, but we'll hang on to this to see if it's an upgrade. So we're on or around roll 27 for the entire hunt. We've got 22 rolls left, and we've got another wheat penny. This one came up reverse facing. I haven't taken a look at it yet, but it looks decent here. We've got a 1941S. So the pre-1940s is still eluding us, but this is a 41 San Francisco, and I may need it for my books. Checking my cheat sheet real quick. The 41S I don't see on there, and it's not a semi-key, a key date, or a better date. So we're going to put it on the board as a find, and hopefully it can go in the books. So we're on roll 30, and we've come across our next wheat penny, and this one did come up obverse facing, just about like I had it laying there. I turned it a little bit to make it easier to see, but we got ourselves a 1942 Denver to go on the board with our 41 and our 44. So we got 18 rolls left, and I'm bringing you in here because it's been kind of a slow penny hunt. We're working on almost $1.50 in copper. I've got a bunch of potential upgrades for my books, and I've brought you guys in for most of the rest of the stuff that's up there. But I see these pretty frequently, and I decided to look it up. I knew it was kind of a minor error, if you could even consider that. But if you look up here in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see we have a double rim on this 1980. Now, that is caused by a misaligned die. A lot of people would call this an off-center strike, but it's actually a misaligned die. So during the strike, those dies are not completely 100% in the right place and maybe slightly tilted. And when that coin is struck, we end up with two rims. I'll put it under the scope so you can see it a little bit better. Hopefully I can hold this well. So you'll see right there, right here is where we're good. And here's where you can see that tilt come into play. We've actually got a double rim that goes about halfway around the penny. And then you'll see as we get around to this side, we get back in alignment. So very, very, if you want to call it a minor error, from what I can tell, there's no additional value here. But I've seen enough of these and just not bothered to ever look it up that I thought I would share that with you because I figured if I didn't know what it was, and I've been doing this for a few years now, you probably didn't either. So we have just 16 rolls left, and I've been pushing a lot of the 2014 rolls to the end because I've already been through about 5 or 6 of them, and they all pretty much look the same, except for those handful of sort of grease-struck ones that I pointed out earlier in the video. So I don't know if I'm going to hunt all of those in this video. I probably have a couple 5 or 6 circulated rolls left to go. But I'm bringing you in here because we've come across another wheat penny here. It's only going to be, I think, like 4 on the hunt so far. Let's see what we got. We've got ourselves a 1958, and there is a DDO on that 1958. Let's take a look here. See if we can see one. Typically, it shows up in the date, the words Liberty. I don't think he's going to have a double ear. And then, of course, we always have to check the In God We Trust, which I am not seeing anything. So just another wheat penny on the hunt. So bringing in on the very next roll, I just got the wrapper off and I was pushing them down to make them easier to see. And that guy popped out right there. We got another wheat penny. I think it's our second 50s on the hunt. We've got ourselves a 1957. That does look like a D for Denver. Don't think we've got any errors or varieties to look for on this one, so we'll just put it on the board. So we are 12 rolls from the end. We really only have one more roll that we're going to spend any time on. The rest of these are all 2024s, and I'll probably pick a few rolls and go through them just to see if I find anything interesting. But the last 3 or 4 rolls that I've been through, not so interesting. But here we are. Like I said, about 12 rolls to the end. We've got ourselves another wheat penny. This time we've got ourselves a 1946. We'll add that to the board. That actually ends up making 6 wheat pennies on the hunt. And for the customer wrap rolls not producing anything, this isn't bad considering the limited number of bank wrap rolls that we've had. So our very last roll that's non-2024, we've got a really, really beat up and ugly wheat penny. I had to put it under the scope, so this isn't the first time I'm seeing it, but I believe it's a 1940. And it's an ugly one. I think I've already got the 1940 for my book, but did just want to show you guys, and I'm just going to slide it in right there for now. But Last roll, we did get a Wheatie. Maybe we'll find a few more in here, or at least some copper. There's an 82 that's a copper, so I think we got quite a few coppers in there, but I'll bring you in if we find anything else. Well, we've made it through all of our pennies, and full disclosure, I kept 5 of the 2014 rolls. I went through so many of them and really didn't find anything more than the weird kind of grease strike. I pulled some of the better ones that I'll probably just hang on to just in case it does turn out to be something, and we'll look at those again here in just a second. But let's go through what we found, and then we're also going to have a look in the books. But we found ourselves a 1940 pretty beat up wheat penny. We have a 1941S, and the reason it's pushed up a little higher is it is going to fill a hole in the book, so I'm excited about that. It's been a while since we've plugged in some wheat pennies. We have ourselves a 1942D, a 44, a 46, a 52, and a 57D. Now, these guys up here I find all the time. None of them, unfortunately, were upgrades for the book, but it is what it is. Now, I did pull a couple of just nicer, more red copper pennies. Again, checked all those for upgrades. This 1962D is probably the nicest of all the ones that we found. And honestly, the one in my book is nicer than this, if it gives you an idea of how nice that coin is. As I said earlier, this 2014 Philly, I have seen online there's supposedly a DDO in the date. And there does appear to be, you can even see on the, under this magnification, some sort of mint processing error. I tend to believe it's some kind of grease strike where the L can be completely gone. I have seen on eBay where the VDB was completely gone and people were getting pretty good money for it. And when that's typically the case, the grease strike on the back can be pretty bad as well. None of mine went so far as to have like all the lettering removed, but I found quite a number where the L was gone, some of the L in the I. The VDB was a little tough to see. But, just under the scope here, I'll just show you the L, and I'm kind of pushed way in here. Sorry, let me back out. You can see even under the scope, the L is completely gone with the I mostly missing. And I hung on to, I don't know, 7 or 8 of those. They look pretty decent. We did have a number of the 2009 early childhoods and 1 professional life. None of those are upgrades, but I do like pulling the 2009s because it was a commemorative year, or I think it was a commemorative year. They did 4 special designs. And I know a lot of people that hang on to them because they were also fairly low mintage. Now, we did get, in just regular copper, almost 2 full dollars worth of copper pennies. We had $1.91 here, and when we add that to the copper that I have up top, we have 202 copper pennies. Copper today's at $4.73 a pound, giving us $6 and nearly 23 cents worth of just copper weight alone in this just $2 of pennies. So I do get asked in the comments all the time, what do I do with the copper pennies that I pull aside? I actually hang on to them because they're worth more in copper weight than they are as pennies. And I did a video on that some time ago. If I remember, I'll link to it up here in the upper right-hand corner on why you should be hanging on to your copper pennies. But make sure you are scoping them. Get my checklist that I still have up here. Make sure you are looking at those. Don't just hoard them to hoard them. Also look for those mint errors and varieties because they can be worthwhile. Now, I don't know why I left my 2014 down here. These are all going to be book upgrades. We've got a 93, a 2001, a 2014 Denver, a 2017 Philly, and a 2024. I just pulled one of the nicer ones out of those sort of BU rolls from the bank. So with that, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to throw the camera up on the rack, and we're going to take a look at the books. Okay, well, here we go. Quick look at the books. We've got our 1909 to 1940, and as I said in the opening of the video, this book is looking pretty sad. I've got a lot of holes to fill, and unfortunately not a whole lot going on in my penny hunts of late for our early wheat pennies. I was excited to see, though, we have this 1941S. Now, the middle book here, we're doing much, much better on. Just a quick look. We've got everything all the way full. From pretty much, 1956 to 1974 San Francisco. And again, excited to say we've got ourselves a 1941S, which we're going to go ahead and plug in right there, closing that out. So let's see here. Book 3, did I have I had a 1993, so our 1975 to, 2013. This is completely full. I do have a little search list, so you can see I've still got some brown guys in here. Not everybody's red yet. Not everybody's gorgeous, but we're doing our best here. Hopefully that's all showing up on camera. The 1993 is right here, and it's just a slight upgrade, so I did want to go ahead and pop that out and put it back in. Now, these Whitman albums you need to be careful with. You don't want to upgrade too much, because the more you pop these coins in and out of that cardboard, the looser it's going to get, and it'll stop holding them in place. But, oh, we had more, sorry. We had a 2001 that could fit in right here as well. Again, just a slight upgrade on this 2001. I'm going to pop that guy down right there. We are done with that book. And our last book, the 2014 and up, we've got quite a number of things. And the main one I'm excited about is we found a decent 2014 D. In my last hunt, all my 2014 Ds were just really, really awful. My 2017, oh, I thought this was a Denver. It was a Philly. My Philly actually looks pretty good. We're not actually going to replace that. That is my bad. We needed a decent 2017 Denver. Oh well, so no upgrade there. The 2024 Philly, first time we've got one of those, so we're going to go ahead and punch that down. Now we just need the Denver, and this book will be as up to date as we can get it. So with that, I hope you did enjoy this video. I know I don't do a whole lot of penny videos of late just because they take so very long for me to do, and I do struggle getting circulated pennies. So, and I've also had terrible luck with customer wraps of late. They've either been really dirty or they've obviously been searched, because every single roll I pick up is 226 grams and there's not a lot of copper in them. So I've just struggled doing pennies, and I apologize for that if you guys are really into penny videos. But it is fun to get to them every now and then because there is so much to look for. So with that, if you did enjoy this one, let me know. Drop on down below, leave me a comment, and click on that like button. It really helps out the channel and would really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you want to catch the penny hunt from the beginning, I do have a playlist with all of my penny hunts in it from the beginning of these books all the way up through this. Make sure you check that out. I'll link it at the end of this video. But if you are new, make sure you do click on that subscribe button and then click that little bell and select all so you get notified each and every time I do release a new video. Special shout out to all my channel members. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel each and every month. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I've got a bunch of more coins to look through here. It is Memorial Day weekend, and I've just kind of been relaxing and not hunting as many coins as I probably should, but I'm going to get these pennies put away and get into my next hunt. So stay tuned to the channel. Look out for more content later this week. Thanks, take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.